Okay, good morning all. So today we will do three-stage compressor. Actually in exam, normally they didn't ask regarding this three-stage compressor. Okay, but thing is, it is very simple. The formulas and everything, it is very simple. Procedure is exactly similar to that of two-stage compressor. So that's why so today I will take two classes. Surappa sir is on leave today. He will not be available. So third hour and fourth hour I will take. So that's why I have decided to quickly revise regarding three-stage compressor. So in three-stage compressor, as the name suggests, how many cylinders will be there? In there here total we have three cylinders. Three cylinders means this will be the first cylinder. I will draw it. So here we will be having the first cylinder. This is the second one. Inlet valve. This is exhaust valve. And here we will be having third cylinder. Okay, so what will happen? So first the atmospheric air will enter through this inlet valve. Okay, then here in the first cylinder compression will take place. Then the compressed air will move to the second. This is cylinder 1. This is cylinder 2. This one is cylinder 3. That's why the name is three-stage compressor. So after the first stage of compression, the compressed air will move into a intercooler. Here we'll be having a intercooler. Okay, so after intercooler, this air will enter to the second stage of compressor. Here again it will compress the air. Again after that, it will enter to another intercooler. Here we'll be having one more intercooler. And then from here, this air will enter to the third stage of cylinder. Here once again it will compress the air, and hence from here final air we will get. Okay. So this is the arrangement of the cylinder. Theory question you will not get from here, only problems will come. And coming to the PV diagram, so here three stages will be there, so I will draw it. This is the first stage. Air will enter. This is 0.0. 0.1. Okay. After suction process, what will happen? Compression will take place from 0.1 to 0.2. Then from after compression, what will happen? It will go to the first intercooler. So at intercooler at constant pressure, so you will remove the heat. This is 0.3. Okay. So after that, it will move to the second stage of compressor. Here in second cylinder, once again we will compress it. Again, we are going to compress it from 0.3 to 0.4. After that, again it will enter to the intercooler. Again at constant pressure, we will remove some heat from here. This is 0.4 to 0.5. And again after 0.5, again we will compress the air in the third cylinder here. From 0.5 to 0.6, and after that we will supply it to the atmosphere. I will draw some dotted line over here. Okay, so this is the first stage compression. This is the second stage of compression. This is the third stage of compression. Okay, so the inlet point is 0.0. This is 0.0. Then suction will take place from 0.0 to 0.1. Then from 1 to 2, it will be compression. Okay. So here, whatever outside temperature is point is 0, this temperature is 0.1. Okay. At 0.1, it will enter to the cylinder. Then from 0.1 to 0.2, compression will take place. Okay. So 0.1 to 0.2, here compression will take place. Then 0.2 to 0.3, it is the intercooler. So this is the intercooler. Entrance point is 2, exit point is 3. Then from 3 to 4, it will enter to the second stage of compressor. Okay, so entrance point is 3, exit point becomes 4. Then 4 to 5, again it will go to second intercooler. So this is the second intercooler. Entrance point is 4, exit point is 5. Then 5 to 6, again it will compress in the third cylinder. So entrance point is 5, exit point is 6. Then at 0.7, we are supplying it to the container. Okay. So this is the PV diagram. So here, how many pressures we have? Suppose in this line, the pressure is P1. Here in this line, the pressure suppose P2. In this line, let's assume the pressure is P4, and in this line, let's consider the pressure is P6. Okay, so here what will happen? The highest pressure. Highest pressure is which one? Highest pressure is P6. And the lowest pressure is P1. Okay, and this P2 and P4, these are the intermediate pressure. Clear? So here also, if this intercooling process is perfect intercooling, perfect intercooling. Okay. For perfect intercooling, what will happen? This T3, the entrance, this T3 temperature should be equal to T1 temperature, and this T5 temperature should be equal to T1 temperature. So T1 is equal to T3 is equal to T5. What is the meaning of this? Means entrance temperature for all the cylinders will remain same. For cylinder 1, entrance temperature is T1. For cylinder 2, entry temperature is T3. And for cylinder 3, entry temperature is T5. So T1 equal to T2 equal to T5. This is the case for a perfect intercooler. Okay, so this intercooler will act in such a manner that it will bring down the temperature of the air to the initial temperature. Okay, so T1 equal to T3 equal to T5. And the second condition is pressure ratio will remain same. Pressure ratio means for the first stage, what is the pressure ratio? For the first stage, high pressure is P2, low pressure is P1. So for the first stage, pressure ratio becomes P2 by P1 is equal to, for second stage, what is the pressure ratio? Who can tell? Can you put a message? For the second stage, what is the pressure ratio? You can unmute yourself and tell, or else you can put a message. For the second stage of compressor, what is the pressure ratio? P4 by P2, exactly. Okay. Second stage means from this point to this point. Yes, P4 by P2. 305, 313, lateral entry. Every day lateral entry people are only responding. Okay. So for the second stage, the high pressure is P4, low pressure is P2. So we will write here P4 by P2 is equal to, for third stage. Third stage means this is the third stage. Okay. So for third stage, the pressure ratio will be, yes, P6 by P4. At the third stage, high pressure is P6, low pressure is P4. Yes, P6 by P5, not P6 by P5. For this stage, the highest pressure is P6 and this lowest pressure is P4. Okay, P4 equal to P5, you can say. So, but we have named it, so we write it P6 divided by P4, and P4 is P5 because this is constant pressure process. Okay, so this is the perfect, this is the intercooling condition, which will be equal to, here only one more new thing we will add, which will be equal to P high divided by P low whole to the power 1 by 3. Okay, so these new terms will only come here. So this pressure ratio should be equal to highest pressure divided by lowest pressure whole to the power 1 by 3. This means which one is highest pressure? Highest pressure is P6. Okay. So you can see here the highest pressure is P6. So I can write P6 divided by which one is lowest pressure? Lowest pressure is P1. This one. Okay, lowest pressure is P1. P1 whole to the power 1 by 3. Okay. So this condition you have to remember. Okay, so pressure ratio for each stage of compressor will remain same, which will be equal to highest pressure by lowest pressure whole to the power 1 by 3. Okay. So this thing you can derive from this equation. From this equation, this term you can derive. Okay. So for the time being, for just 3-stage compressor, you remember this pressure ratio should be equal to P highest by P lowest to the power 1 by 3. Okay, and work done by the compressor equal to, since it is a 3-stage compressor, we will write 3 times N by N minus 1 MR T1, because T1 is the entrance temperature for the first compressor, whole into, for the this one, the pressure ratio becomes P2 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N. So this is the work. This formula will remain same. In case of 2-stage compressor, here we have taken 2. In place of 3-stage compressor, we will take 3 over here. And the remaining formulas are exactly same. And this is the for perfect intercooling, this is the working condition, and this is the total work. Okay, so everything will remain same as we have discussed for a 2-stage compressor. The only thing is this will be a new term we introduce. The pressure ratio should be equal to P high by P low whole to the power 1 by 3. Okay, and this is the work done. So one problem quickly we will do based upon these things, based upon this 3-stage compressor, so that all of your doubt will be clear. Okay. So we have a problem. So this is the question. So this is the question over here. So we'll quickly solve this question. So you be prepared with calculator. Isothermal efficiency. Here we have to calculate isothermal. Okay, I will come to isothermal efficiency later. So here first we'll write down the given data. What is given in a 3-stage compressor? First we'll write down the given data. So since it is a 3-stage compressor, so first we will draw the PV diagram for a 3-stage compressor. So where whatever the problem you will get from the compressor, it is better first to draw the PV diagram, so that you will be having a good impression towards the examiner. You will get good marks. This is 0.0, this is 0.1, this is 0.2, 0.3, 6.4, 0.5, 6.6. This is 0.7. Just join this line. So here the pressure is P1. Here the pressure is P2. Here suppose the pressure is P4, and in this line the pressure is P6. All right. So this is the first stage of compressor. This is second stage. This is third stage. So that's why it is a three-stage compressor. So in a three-stage reciprocating air compressor, air is compressed from 98 kilopascal to 20 bar. This means the initial pressure of air is 98 kilopascal and the final pressure of the air is 20 bar. If you see in the diagram, initially here, whenever the air will enter, here the pressure of the air is 98 kilopascal, and finally from the last cylinder, whatever the air we are getting, it is 20 bar. Okay, so this thing it is given in the question. Air is compressed from 98 kilopascal to 20 bar, means initial pressure is 98 kilopascal. P1 is equal to 98 kilopascal, and P2 this 20 bar means final pressure. Don't take it as P2. Okay, so initial is 98, final pressure is 20 bar. Initial pressure P1 is 98 kilopascal and final pressure here P6 is equal to 20 bar. Okay, so this thing is in kilopascal. So we are not required to change anything because the power, this work, everything we will find out in kilowatts. So that's why this pressure is given in 98 kilopascal. I will not touch it. And secondly, here the final pressure is given 20 bar. So this one I have to convert into kilopascal. 1 bar is 100 kilopascal. Okay, so 20 into 100, 2000 kilopascal. Okay, you see in a three-stage compressor, the entrance pressure of the air is 98. But after 3 stages of compression, what is the final pressure we are getting? We are getting 2000 kilopascal. Means we are increasing the pressure of the air from 98 kilopascal to 2000 kilopascal. Okay, so this is nothing but the lowest pressure, and this is nothing but the highest pressure. All right, next, calculate for 1 meter cube of air flow per second. Can you tell me what is this thing? What is this 1 meter cube? This is meter cube, 1 meter cube. 1 meter cube of air flow per second. Is it mass or is it volume? Or it is volume flow rate? Can you tell? What is this 1 meter cube of air flow per second? So this 1 meter cube of air, meter cube is the unit of volume. Per second means it is volume flow rate. Okay. So the initial volume here, the initial volume V1 or VA, volume of the air, it is given how much? 1 meter cube per second. 1 meter cube per second. Okay. Calculate for 1 meter cube of air flow per second. So this is the volume of the air or V1. Initial volume. It is how much? It is 1 meter cube per second. Determine power input to the compressor or power required to the compressor. Okay. So the power we will calculate for n equal to 1.3. Polytropic index n equal to 1.3. We have first point, we have to calculate the power or work done. Second point, isothermal work. Isothermal work done, second point we have to calculate. Third point, saving of work due to multi-stage. Saving of work. What do you mean by saving of work? Means in single stage, how much work we are getting. In 3 stage, how much work we are getting. If we will take the difference between these two, we can say how much work we can save if we will go for 3 stage compression. And the fourth point, we will calculate isothermal efficiency. Isothermal. Regarding this isothermal efficiency, already I have told you. I don't know whether you have remembered the formula of isothermal efficiency or not, but already I have told you regarding this isothermal efficiency previously. Okay, once again we will do this problem today so that all of your doubts will be clear, and once again you will revise how to calculate isothermal work and how to calculate isothermal efficiency. Okay, so one by one we'll start it. First we'll calculate the compressor power or work done by the compressor. Okay, so first part we will calculate work done by compressor. That is the power value we will calculate first.
Power.
Right. So what is the work done formula for a 3-stage compressor? Here one thing it is mentioned, it is also, we'll assume it as perfect intercooling. Because nothing is mentioned here, so we'll write here assuming, because regarding intercooling they have mentioned nothing over in this question. So we'll write here assuming perfect intercooling okay, assuming perfect intercooling, what is the condition? We have P2 by P1 is equal to, this condition we will write. Pressure ratio will remain same. P2 by P1 for the first stage, which is equal to, for second stage the pressure ratio is P4 by P2, P4 by P2, which is equal to, for third stage pressure ratio is P6 by P4, P6 by P4, which is equal to P high divided by P low whole to the power 1 by 3. Okay, so this condition I have applied. This condition. Okay, why I have applied this condition? Because what is the work done formula? The work done, this is the work done formula. In this work done formula, this P2 by P1, this value I require. Okay, in this question, P1 value was given, but P2 value, this pressure value was not given in the question. But to calculate the power or work done, I require P2 by P1. Okay, so how I will calculate this P2 by P1 value? From this formula. From this condition, I can calculate P2 by P1. Okay, so that's why I have written this formula. That implies from this formula I can write P2 by P1 here only, which is equal to, what is P high? High pressure, highest pressure is 2000 kilopascal, lowest pressure is 98 kilopascal. So we'll put this value over here. Highest pressure is 2000 kilopascal, lowest pressure is 98 kilopascal, whole to the power 1 by 3. So if we solve this, how much value I am getting? 321. P2 by P1 equal to P6 by, not P6 by P1, it will be 321. It will be P6 by P1 to the power 1 by 3. P6 by P1 to the power 1 by 3. Same condition I have told. P6 by P1 to the power 1 by 3. Okay. Right. So you just tell me how much value we are getting over here. This value, how much we are getting? 2.7327. 7327. Okay, so P2 by P1. So from here we can write that implies P2 by P1. This pressure ratio, how much it is? 2.7327. So now I will write down the formula of work done. So work input W equal to, since it is a 3-stage compressor, so 3 times N divided by N minus 1 MR T1 whole into P2 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N minus 1. Okay, right. So what is this N value? N value is 1.3. Correct. What is this mass flow rate? But sir, in this question, input power means brake power. Okay, actually you are getting confused over here. Here input actually brake power until and unless in the question mechanical efficiency is not given, you cannot calculate brake power. Okay, because if you are telling it, actually they are writing the question wrongly. I don't know why they have written this. This will be work done or power by the compressor. They should write in this manner. Because what is mechanical efficiency? Mechanical efficiency is brake power. Sorry. Mechanical efficiency is for the compressor indicated power by brake power. Okay. So if you are telling we have to calculate here brake power, okay, to calculate this brake power in the question they should mention mechanical efficiency. Okay, but here in this question if you are telling here you have to calculate brake power, then brake power is unknown. Indicated power you can calculate from this formula, no problem. But what about the mechanical efficiency value? This value is not given. Okay, so it is not possible to calculate brake power until and unless mechanical efficiency was not given. Power output, exactly. Okay, this is actually the power output by the compressor. Okay, so I think in that book they have written it wrongly. I have just copy pasted it, so that's why it got wrong. Okay, because from this question you cannot calculate brake power. Why you cannot calculate brake power? Because to calculate brake power, this is the formula. Okay, but in this formula, this mechanical efficiency they have not given. Otherwise, what is the one more brake power formula? One more brake power formula is brake power equal to 2 pi nt divided by 60,000. The speed of the engine they have not given. Torque value also they have not given. So it is not possible to calculate brake power from the given data. Okay. So this means they are asking here to calculate indicated power of the engine. Actually, this should be power output of the compressor or work done by the compressor. They would write in such way. Okay. Power output by the compressor or work done by the compressor. In that way, they should write it. Okay, right. Now here in this problem, N value is given 1.3. Okay, no problem. But what about this mass flow rate, M dot, mass flow rate? Okay, if you see the given data, mass flow rate they have not given. What they have given? They have given volume flow rate. This is called volume flow rate. Okay, meter cube per second. Mass flow rate they have not given. What about T1, inlet temperature? T1 value also in the question paper they have not given. So can you tell me what should I write in this place? How to solve this question? In the question paper, P1 they have given, P6 they have given, and volume flow rate they have given. Okay, but this mass flow rate they have not mentioned in the question, and temperature, inlet temperature also they have not mentioned. So what should I write here? How to solve this question? Can you tell me? Okay. So here what to do? M equal to 1. Okay, even if you will take M equal to 1, what about T1? T1 value, I think in this question paper, temperature they have not given, not a single temperature they have given. So what should I write in place of T1? This kind of problem also I have done previously. Atmospheric temperature. No, we cannot take like that. Here what we can do, we have to apply ideal gas equation. Okay, yes, P1, V1. Okay, so what is ideal gas equation? Ideal gas equation is PV equal to MRT. Okay, or P1, V1 equal to MRT1. This is ideal gas equation. So in place of MRT1, I will write P1 into V1. P1 is the initial pressure, V1 is the initial volume or volume of the air. So P1 value is given, volume is also given. So that's why I have to, in place of MRT, I should write P1 into V1. So this formula becomes P times N by N minus 1. In place of MRT, I will write P1 V1 whole into P2 by P1 to the power N minus 1 by N minus 1. Okay, then I will just put the value right. That's 3 times N is 1.3 divided by 1.3 minus 1 into what is pressure? P1 is 98 kilopascal. What is V1? V1 is 1 meter cube per second. Into what is P2 by P1? P2 by P1 value we got from here. Okay, so that's why I have done this thing. To get this P2 by P1 value, I have written this condition and I got it 2.7327. 2.7327 whole to the power N minus 1 by N. 1.3 minus 1 divided by 1.3 minus 1. Okay, now you solve this equation and tell me how much work done we are getting in kilowatt. Solve this value and tell me the answer. So 276.156. We are getting the work done as 276.156. Okay. This is the work input or work done by the compressor. If you have any doubt regarding this one, you ask me. Why I have taken P1 V1 instead of MRT1? Because you identify, you remember this thing. If in the question paper mass flow rate they will give. If in the question paper mass flow rate m dot value, okay, which will be in kg per second. If the mass flow rate they will give, then you apply this formula. Okay. This formula you apply. If mass flow rate they will mention in the question, which is kg per second. If volume flow rate they will mention in the question, which is volume flow rate is meter cube per second. Then in this case, you apply this formula. Because according to ideal gas equation, PV equal to MR. If in the question mass flow rate they will give, then you take this formula. If in the question paper volume they have given, then you take this formula. Since in this question, volume flow rate they have given 1 meter cube of air flow per second. Volume flow rate they have given, and initial pressure they have given. So that's why in place of MRT1, I have taken this value and I have solved it and I got the answer. Okay, 3-4 days back, exactly similar type of problem I did for 2-stage compressor. That time I have told these things. Again today you have forgotten. Okay, so remember these things. Huh? So this is the work done by the compressor. First part completed. Second part is isothermal work done. Second part we have to calculate. In second part, we are going to calculate isothermal work done. So can you tell me what is the formula of isothermal work done? This also I have told you. What is the formula of isothermal work? $332.65. What is this? I didn't get it. Sudhir. 332.65 means is this value wrong? Are you telling it is 332? Somebody check this value whether this is correct or wrong. Whether it is 276 or 332. One more answer I am getting. 332 point. 332.65. 332.65. Which one is correct in this? Somebody please check. $332.65. Okay, so this is not the right answer. Here we are getting 332 point how much? 332.65. Right. Okay, so this is the work done we have got. This is the work done by a 3-stage compressor. Next thing is isothermal work done we have to find out. Okay. So for isothermal work done formula, for this one you have to remember the formula of isothermal work done. So this thing already you have studied in thermodynamics. In unit 3, I have also told this thing, the formula. The formula is P1 V1 ln P higher by P lower. Okay, so this kind of formula I think you have studied in thermodynamics. P1 V1 ln P2 by P1. Okay, so this kind of formula you might have studied in thermodynamics. In heat, in this P1 also, this isothermal work done formula I have given. Okay, unit 3 notes I have uploaded in the group. Once you open this unit 3 notes, okay, in that you will get the isothermal work done formula. P1 V1 ln P2 by P1. P2 means P high pressure, P1 means low pressure. Okay, so the same formula we are going to implement here. P1 V1 ln high pressure divided by low pressure. This is the isothermal work done by the compressor, which is equal to P1 is how much? P1 is 98 kilopascal, V1 is 1 meter cube per second. P1 is 98, V1 is 1 into ln P high by P low. Highest pressure is 2000, lowest pressure is 98. Highest pressure is 2000 and lowest pressure is 98. Now you solve this and tell me what is the isothermal work done I am getting. This work should be more than 332 because isothermal work always it is the highest work. It should be greater than 332. If this value you are getting less than 332 means you are doing something wrong. It should be more than 332. This work done should be more than 332. How much answer we are getting? 295. Okay, that is the 2 stage. Okay, no problem. Correct. 295.56. 295.56. Correct. So this is the isothermal work done we will get for the compressor. For if you will consider IC engine, in case of engine, this work done should be more than that one. So here it will be less on, correct? Okay, so in this way, directly by remembering the formula, we will get the isothermal work done. This formula you have to remember. Okay, isothermal work done formula is P1 V1 ln P2 by P1, or this P2 by P1 means P highest pressure by P lowest pressure. Okay, in this manner you remember P1 V1 ln P high by P low. In this question, volume flow rate they have given, so we have taken this formula. If in the question mass flow rate they will give, then in place of P1 V1, we will write MR P1 ln P high by P low. Okay. So depending upon the demand of the question, you have to write whether it is P1 V1 or it is MR P1. If in the question paper volume flow rate they will mention, then you apply this formula. If in the question paper mass flow rate kg per second they will mention, then you apply this formula and you will get the answer. Right? Okay. So this is the isothermal work done we have got. Third point, we will calculate saving of work due to multi-stage compressor. How much work we can save due to multi-stage compressor. So in third point, we are going to calculate saving of work. Okay. So for a 3-stage compressor, compressor, work done W equal to how much we have calculated. Okay, so work done we have calculated 332.65 kilowatt. 332.65 kilowatt. Okay, for a 3-stage compressor, this is the work done we have already calculated. For a single-stage compressor, we will calculate the work. For a single-stage compressor, work done W equal to, for a single stage compressor, what is the formula? N divided by N minus 1 MR P1 P high divided by, or pressure ratio to the power N minus 1 by N minus 1. Single stage means these intermediate stages will not be there. Directly air will enter at the initial pressure 98 kilopascal, and after compression the air will leave at final pressure, that is 2000 kilopascal. So according to that, I have written the formula which is equal to N by N minus 1. Again, I cannot take this formula because mass flow rate is not given, initial temperature is not given. So in place of MR T1, I will write P1 V1, since PV equal to MRT for ideal case. Okay. Into the same formula I will write P high divided by P low to the power N minus 1 by N minus. So this value I will put, N value is 1.3 divided by 1.3 minus 1. P1 is 98 kilopascal. V1 is 1 meter cube per second, whole into highest pressure by lowest pressure. Okay. Means if it is a single stage compressor, this intermediate pressures will not be there. Directly air will enter at the lowest pressure, that is 98 kilopascal, and it will compress to the highest pressure, that is 2000 kilopascal. So here we will write 2000 divided by 98 to the power N minus 1 by N. 1.3 minus 1 divided by 1.3. Solve this one and we will get For a single stage, how much work will be required? 427.08. We require 427.08 kilowatt. Okay, you see the difference. For a 3-stage compressor, what is the work input required? 332 kilowatt. This is the work done by we are getting from the. This is the work done. We have to put in the compressor. We have to do in the compressor this much of work. For a single stage compressor, how much work we have to do? We have to do 427.08. Means whenever you will compress it, you have to do some work on the air. Okay. So for single stage, how much work you have to do? 437 kilowatt. For 3-stage, how much work you have to do? 332 kilowatt. So how much work we can save? So saving work in multi-stage compressor equal to 437.08 minus 332.65. Which is equal to 94.43. 94. Can see 94 kilowatt. This much of work we can save if we are going for a multi-stage compressor. Okay. Which work it is? Means suppose the cylinder is there. This is the inlet valve. This is the exhaust valve. Okay. So air will enter through the inlet valve, and this compressor, this piston will compress this air. To compress this air, this piston has to do some work on the air. Then only it can compress it. Okay. So if it is a single stage compressor, how much work this piston will do on the air? It will do 427.08 kilowatt. But if it is a 3-stage compressor, okay, then the total work done by the piston to compress the gas will be only 332.65 kilowatt. Okay, means it will be less work we have to do to compress the air in case of multi-stage compressor. And how much work we can save? For a single stage, it is 427. For a 3-stage, it is 332. So 427 minus 332, 94 kilowatt we can save if we are going for 3-stage compressor. Okay. So this is the work done that we can save over here. Now the last part we will find out, then we will solve this problem. Okay, this part also it is completed. Last part is isothermal efficiency. Okay, in the last part we have to calculate isothermal efficiency of the compressor. So fourth part or the last part of the problem we will calculate. This will be a 15 marks question. Isothermal efficiency. I don't know whether you have remembered the formula of isothermal efficiency or not. So isothermal efficiency equal to isothermal work done divided by actual work done. Okay. That implies isothermal efficiency equal to, what is the isothermal work done? Isothermal work done is 295.561. 295.561 whole divided by actual work done. For the 3-stage compressor, what is the actual work done? For a 3-stage compressor, the actual work done is 332.65. Okay, here we have calculated work done by the compressor. 3-stage compressor, it is 332.65. 332.65. If we will multiply 100, we will get the isothermal efficiency. How much we are getting? Around 90%, I think. 88.85%. 88.85%. This is the answer. This is the final answer. Okay. So this formula will remain changed if we will consider for IC engine. Okay. For IC engine, this isothermal efficiency is equal to actual work done divided by isothermal work done in case of engine. But in case of compressor, all the formula will remain changed. In case of compressor, the efficiency will remain reverse. It will be isothermal work done by actual work done. Okay. Similarly, mechanical efficiency. Okay, for a engine, mechanical efficiency is brake power by indicated power. But for the compressor, this mechanical efficiency, it will change. It will be indicated power by brake power. Okay. So whatever the formula we are using for IC engine, all the formula will just reverse in case of compressor. Okay. Why? Because IC engine is a work producing device. IC engine is work producing device. Whereas this compressor, it is a work observing or work consuming device. Okay, so that's why whatever the formulas are there for IC engine, all those formula will just reverse in case of compressor. For example, in IC engine, if you see the unit 3 notes, I have written for IC engine, this isothermal efficiency equal to actual work done divided by isothermal work done. But in case of compressor, this formula will reverse. Okay, it will be isothermal work done by actual work done. Similarly, mechanical efficiency. In case of IC engine, it is brake power by indicated power. But in place of compressor, this formula will just reverse. Indicated power by brake power. Okay, so any one formula you remember for the engine, okay, just reverse it, you will get the formula for the compressor. So carefully you have to apply the formula. Otherwise, if you will take this formula, if this value you will keep in denominator and this value you will keep in numerator, then this efficiency you will get which will be more than 100%. So you will think that this is not the right formula. Efficiency can never be more than 100%. It should always be less than 100%. Okay. So in this way, you can solve some questions related to 3-stage or multi-stage air compressor. Okay. Isothermal efficiency also we have calculated. Right. So just you have to keep in the mind whether you have to put MRT formula or you have to put P1 into V1 formula. Because for ideal gas equation, PV equal to MRT. If in the question paper mass flow rate they have mentioned in kg per second, you apply MRT. If in the question paper volume flow rate they have given in meter cube per second, then in place of MRT, you will write P1 into V1. Since in this question volume flow rate they have given 1 meter cube of air per second. So that's why I have written P1 into V1. I have put the form values and I got the answer. Okay. In this way, so little bit carefully, you have to solve the question. Okay. Only you have to remember the formula and practice whatever the question I am solving in the class. No need to follow any book. No need to follow any book. Okay, whatever the problems we are doing in the class, you just note it down. Okay, notes also I am putting in the class at the end of each class. Complete notes also I have kept in the put in the groups. Okay, so till now, unit 1, unit 2, and unit 3. These notes, complete notes, already I have kept in the group. Okay, and tomorrow.
మీరు మాట్లాడే
tomorrow you need 5 nodes, that is gas turbine. That also I will put in the group. Okay, so the only unit which is left behind is unit 4, that we are going to start now. Okay, so unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, these 3 complete nodes already I have kept in the group, WhatsApp group. Okay, you just save it and you practice from that notes. Problems are there, theory parts are also there. You just practice those things, that will be more than enough. Okay, and tomorrow I will put unit 5 notes, theory along with problems also of this unit 5. Tomorrow I will keep in the, and we'll start unit 4 in next 8 to 9 days. We will complete unit 4. Okay. By July 15, we will complete unit 4 also. All right. So that's all about unit 3. So the only unit which is left behind is unit 4. So we'll see it. Right. So this is the unit 4 we have. So once I will show you the syllabus again. So unit 1, this part already we have completed. Okay. Then unit 2 also I have completed. Notes also I have written. Unit 3, just now we have completed everything. Entire unit 3 we have completed. Okay. And unit 5. Unit 5 also we have completed. Gas turbine. Okay. This unit 5 notes tomorrow I will post in the group. The only unit which is left behind is unit 4. So now we are going to start unit 4. This unit 4 is also regarding compressor. Okay, in unit 3 we have seen regarding reciprocating air compressor. 1 minute. Yeah, in unit 3 we have discussed regarding reciprocating air compressor. Single stage, 2 stage, 3 stage reciprocating air compressor. What do you mean by reciprocating? Reciprocating means the piston will move upward or downward. Means if this is the cylinder, inside this cylinder if we have the piston, okay, so how the piston will move? Either the piston will move upward, then the piston will move downward. This up and down motion is called reciprocating motion. So that's why this is called reciprocating compressor. Cylinders I have taken. Whatever the problems we have done, in case of a single cylinder, single stage, we have taken 1 cylinder. In case of 2 stage, we have taken 2 cylinder. And in case of 3 stage compression, we have taken 3 cylinders. Okay, so that's why it is reciprocating air compressor. We have completed this part. In unit 4 also, we are going to study regarding the compressor, but here 3 different types of compressor are there. Okay. One is rotary compressor, one is dynamic compressor or centrifugal compressor, third one is axial flow compressor. 3 types of compressor we have in unit 4. Okay. So first you will start with this part. First we will complete the middle part. This part we will complete first. Okay, what is that one? That is dynamic compressor, or it is also called a centrifugal compressor. Centrifugal compressor or dynamic compressor. We will start from here. Why? Because from unit 4, most of the question they will ask from dynamic compressor. This is the important part. Okay, problems or derivations they are asking from dynamic compressor or centrifugal compressor. So that's why first we will complete this part. Okay, after that what to do I will tell. Okay, what is there here in centrifugal compressor? You have to study regarding the mechanical details. and principle of operation. Okay, how it will operate, what is the mechanism behind centrifugal compressor, what is a centrifugal compressor, all those things we are going to study regarding the details and principle of operation. After that, velocity and pressure variations we will see. Velocity diagrams will be there. This part already you have studied in FMHM. Okay, Guru Shankar sir already regarding this velocity triangles. Okay, Guru Shankar sir, I think already he have told you some concepts regarding this. V1, VW1, this is V relative velocity, like this something, some concept already I think you have from FMHM. Guru Shankar sir already told you all these things. Okay, so here once again we are going to revise, once again we are going to practice all those things. Okay. But for today we will not start the derivation part. We will introduce, I will introduce you regarding the centrifugal compressor, how the centrifugal compressor work, how the centrifugal compressor looks like, and the principle of operation. Okay, the mechanism behind the centrifugal compressor. Okay, so this much things we will discuss, and then we will complete today's class. Right. So the centrifugal, we are going to start the centrifugal compressor, or is also called as dynamic compressor. Okay, so we are just today we are going to start unit 4, our last unit, because 5th unit already we have completed. Right. So centrifugal compressor, what do you mean by centrifugal compressor? So centrifugal compressor, first point, centrifugal compressor is a type of rotary compressor. You can see in this picture, it is rotating. Okay, so in this picture, you can see this is rotating. There are some rotational parts are there. This total arrangement is called centrifugal compressor. Okay. Some rotating parts are there. So that's why the first point, the centrifugal compressor is a type of rotary compressor in which a particular gas or vapor is compressed by an impeller. What do you mean by impeller? I will tell you. Okay, so this is actually how the centrifugal compressor will looks like. So these are the impeller, this rotating part. Here you can see, these are the impellers. These plates, these are the impeller plates. Okay. So a centrifugal compressor is a type of rotary compressor in which a particular gas or vapor is compressed, because compressor means it will compress the gas or vapor by an impeller. Okay, so this is an impeller will be there, this rotating part, these are the impeller plates. Okay, so this impeller will compress the air or a gas. Okay, so it is a type of dynamic compressor. I told you, okay, the centrifugal compressor is also called as dynamic compressor. Centrifugal compressor use centrifugal force to compress the air. By the help of centrifugal force. What is centrifugal force? Centrifugal force is m into v square by r. This is the centrifugal force. Okay. In physics, you might have heard this. That is not required for you. So it uses the centrifugal force to compress the air. In centrifugal compressor, the air or gas enters axially in the impeller and it discharges radially. Okay, you can see, okay, which is the axis. Suppose this is the axis. This is the axis of the compressor. Okay, suppose this is the x-axis of the compressor. And so how here, this is the, here we will be having a suction valve. Here in this direction, the arrow marks are there, you can see here. So in this direction, the air will enter. So how the air is entering to the impeller? These are the impeller blades. The airs are entering axially, in the axial direction. On this axis, about this axis, this impeller will rotate. Okay. So air will enter to the compressor in axial direction. That's what I have written here. Air or gas will enter axially to the impeller and it discharges radially. So after compression, this is the, in this direction it will discharge. Okay. So if you will consider it as a circular path, if it is a circular path, then what will be the radius? This is the radius. These are the radius. Okay. So in this direction, in vertical direction, in this direction, it will discharge the compressed gas. So that is the meaning of this one. Okay. In a centrifugal compressor, the air or gas enters axially to the impeller. Axially it will enter, air will enter to the impeller and it discharges radially. Radially it will discharge, means it will come out from the compressor. Okay, so therefore it is also called as radial compressor. Since discharge will take place radially in the direction of the radius, so it is called a radial compressor. Okay, so centrifugal compressor, same as dynamic compressor, same as radial compressor. All are same. Okay, in the question paper, either they will mention radial compressor, they can mention centrifugal compressor, they can either mention dynamic compressor. Okay, all these three names are exactly similar. Okay, so because here you can see how the discharge, this is the discharge. The discharge will take place along the radius. Okay, along the radius in vertical direction, this discharge will take place in this direction. In this direction, discharge will take place. Okay, that's why it is also called a radial compressor or dynamic compressor, because the air is in motion, so it is dynamic compressor, or it is centrifugal compressor because it is using centrifugal force to compress the air. Okay, right. Next thing we will study regarding different parts of the compressor. Construction of a centrifugal compressor. How the centrifugal compressor was constructed. Okay. Regarding this construction part, we will study. Right. So the first part is rotor or impeller. Okay. The rotor is also called as impeller. Which one is this part? These are the rotors. This is called rotor or impeller. This part, this will rotate. So these parts are called rotor or impeller. And these blades you are watching, these are impeller blade. Okay, so what will happen? The rotor or impeller is the most important component of a centrifugal compressor. A centrifugal air compressor, impeller or rotor is a disc. So you can see this is nothing but a disc. Okay, one disc shape will be there. Okay, so this part is nothing but a disc. This part, one disc will be there with a key assembly attached to the shaft of the compressor. So which one is the shaft? This is the shaft, this rotating part. So this part, this is the shaft. Okay, and this part is the impeller. And these are the impeller blades. Okay, this diagram is not required to plot in the exam. Okay, so this is one industrial centrifugal compressor. Okay, diagram is not required. Just for your convenience, I have kept this diagram here. So this is the shaft. You can see this extended part. This is the shaft. This circular part. This is the impeller, and over the impeller we have this impeller blades will be there. And how this impeller is connected with the shaft? It will be connected with a key assembly, key joint. So this is nothing but a key joint. In next semester in design DMM 1, you are going to study regarding this key assembly or key joint. Okay, with the help of key assembly, it will attach to the shaft of the compressor. This is the shaft of the compressor. With the help of some key joint, this impeller is attached with the shaft. Third point, different number of curved blades attached to this DC. So this blade, you can see it is a curved one. Okay, some curved blade will be there. This blade are attached to this impeller shaft. Okay. Last point, the impeller of the compressor gives speed or velocity to the air or gas through the vanes attached to the rotating disc. Okay. So what is the use of this blade? Whenever the air will strike to this blade, whenever the air will enter, and whenever this air will strike this blade, what it will happen? This blade will rotate the air. It will give the kinetic energy up to the air because this blade will rotate it. When this air will come in contact with this blade, this air will also rotate. Okay, and when the air will rotate, its kinetic energy will increase. The kinetic energy of air will increase. And what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy equal to half mv square. If kinetic energy of the air will increase, then this velocity of the air will also increase. Okay, so that's why the blades are in corset to maintain the aerodynamics. Okay, so that's what I have written in the fourth point. The impeller of the compressor gives speed or velocity to the air or gas through the vanes attached to the rotating disc. Okay, so that is the use of this impeller. Okay. With this impeller, these blades are attached. Whenever this air will come in contact with this blade, it will rotate. So it will rotate the air. It will increase the kinetic energy of the air, and as a result, the velocity of the air will also increase. Okay, so that's what you can see from this diagram. The air will strike over here at the central point. The air will strike. Then this blade will rotate it. Okay, this blue color particles are the air particles. This blade will rotate, and hence it will increase the kinetic energy of the air. The air will also start rotating, and its velocity will gradually increase. Okay. So this is regarding rotor. Right. Now the next is casing or housing. Okay. So this part you can see here. This is the casing part. This part. This is the casing. Okay. So what is the use of this? Centrifugal compressor are mostly protected by housing or casing. Okay. Because the air will enter in this direction, it will strike the impeller, then this impeller blade will rotate, it will rotate the air. Okay. In order to block the outward movement of the air outside this impeller, these are the impeller blades, you can see here, these are the impeller blades. Outside the impeller blades, one casing will be there. Okay, this casing is also called as housing. So it will store the air inside this chamber. Inside this rotating chamber, this casing or housing will store the air. Okay. So second point, basically the housing is a tight way of the air around the impeller. This casing will be there around the impeller. These are the impeller blades. Around the surrounding the impeller, this casing or the housing will be there to store the air. Okay. It designs in such a way that the air kinetic energy converts into pressure before the air exits the housing. What I told, first atmospheric air will enter in this direction. Then what will happen? This air will strike the impeller blades. Since these impeller blades are rotating, so this air will also start rotating. And when the air will rotate, the kinetic energy of the air will increase. Then what will happen? Surrounding or outside of this impeller, this housing will be there, or this casing will be there. Okay, so when this high velocity air will strike this casing, it will, the pressure of the air will gradually increase, because we are studying regarding compressor. And what is the use of the compressor? The use of the compressor is it will increase, it should increase the pressure. That is our aim. That is the final aim. This should increase the pressure. Okay, so how the pressure will increase? First air will enter. When this air will strike the impeller blades, its kinetic energy and velocity will increases. And when this high velocity air will strike the casing, because it will block the movement of the air. Okay, the air velocity will be higher, but it cannot escape out because casing is there. So what will happen? It will strike the wall of the casing, and its pressure will gradually increase. That's what I have written in the third point. It designs in such a way that the air kinetic energy converts into pressure before the air exits the house. Okay, so the kinetic energy of the air will be converted to pressure energy according to first law of thermodynamics. What is first law of thermodynamics? Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it can transform from one form to another form. So kinetic energy of the air will be converted to pressure energy. So the pressure of the air will increase, and hence the name compressor will be justified. Okay. The fourth point, the housing consists of several bearings that support the rotor axially and radially. Okay. Some bearings will be there. Bearings means some joints will be there. Okay. In this housing, some joints will be there where it will join these impeller blades. Okay. It is made up of steel. It is made up of steel or cast iron. The material of this housing or casing is steel or cast iron. Okay. So this is the use of the casing or housing. Right. This is one more component of a centrifugal compressor. Okay. Next, diffuser. So this pipe. This pipe is the diffuser pipe. Okay. So what happens here? The impeller sends the air into the diffuser channel at a very high speed. So air will enter. This impeller will rotate the air. Okay. Then it will transfer the air to this diffuser. Okay. And what will happen in the diffuser? It will slow down the air because the diffuser will look like this. Gradually, cross-sectional area will increase. Okay, so this is the inlet part. This is the outlet part. Okay. This is called a diffuser. The air will enter here and it will move out from this direction. Okay. So since its area will gradually increase, its pressure and its velocity will gradually decrease, because area is inversely proportional to velocity. Okay, if area is more, velocity is less. If area is less, velocity is more. So you can see this diffuser gradually here you see the area and here you see the area. Okay, so here the area is less, but in this point the area is more. Okay, so gradually there is an increase in area like this manner. In the inlet, area is less, and at the outlet, area is more. And if area will increase, then velocity will gradually decrease. So that's what I have written here. It will slow down the air or gas and convert dynamic pressure to static pressure. Okay, because inside this casing, whatever the pressure will generate, that is called as dynamic pressure. Why it is dynamic? What do you mean by dynamic? Dynamic means motion. Okay, since this velocity of this air will be very high inside this impeller, so whatever the pressure will generate inside the casing, that will be dynamic pressure. But inside this diffuser, since this cross-sectional area will gradually increase, the velocity will gradually decrease. If velocity will gradually decrease, whatever the pressure we will get here, that pressure is called static pressure. What do you mean by static? Static means rest. Okay, so this is the meaning of a diffuser. This is the work of a diffuser. Okay, so once again, I will revise this diffuser. The impeller sends the air to the diffuser channel at very high speed. Okay, so whenever the air will enter to this diffuser, at the entrance point, velocity will be very higher. If velocity is higher, area should be less. So that's why here the area is less. This diameter is less. How to calculate area? Pi by 4 d square. So here this diameter is less, so area is less. But as you proceed, this diameter will gradually increase. If diameter will increase, area will also increase. And if area will increase, velocity will decrease. And if velocity will decrease, then the pressure will be reduced to, dynamic pressure will be reduced to static pressure. Okay, that is the use of a diffuser. Next, impeller blades. Regarding this impeller blades, already I have discussed. These blades connect with the impeller rotation. The main objective of this blade is to provide kinetic energy to the working fluid. Here working fluid is nothing but air and increases its speed. All these things already I have discussed over here. Okay, these impeller blades, use of these impeller blades. These are the impeller blades. Okay, what will happen in the impeller blades? Okay, so here these blades are attached with the impeller. The main objective of these blades are to provide kinetic energy. Okay, these impeller blades will provide kinetic energy to the air or working fluid, and hence it will increase the speed of the air. Then inlet and outlet port. Here we will be having inlet port, and here this is the outlet port. The inlet and outlet port of the compressor uses to suck the air or gas inside the compressor. Through this port, air or gas will enter to the compressor, and through this one, it will discharge out from the compressor. Okay, so that's the thing I have written here. The inlet port of the compressor uses to suck the air or gas inside the compressor, and the outlet port uses to discharge the pressurized air out of the compressor. The inlet, through this inlet port, air will enter to the compressor, and through this discharge port, air will moves out from the compressor. Okay, so these are some components of a centrifugal compressor. So theoretical question, 5 marks question, they may ask, explain the construction of centrifugal compressor. Okay, if like that they will ask. So the first point is rotor. Second point, casing or housing. Diagram not required. If you can plot, it will be excellent. Third point, diffuser. Fourth point, impeller blades. Fifth point, input and output ports. Okay, so these are the construction of a centrifugal compressor. Okay. All right, so you have to give the heading, and regarding all these things, some 2-3 points you have to write. Now the last part, then we will complete the class today. What is area pressure relationship? So what is the formula of pressure? Can you tell? What is pressure? Pressure is nothing but force upon area. Okay, means pressure is inversely proportional to area. If pressure is more, then area should be less, and if area is more, then pressure should be less. So in this diffuser, here, if you will see here the diameter is less, and this is D1 suppose, and here suppose this diameter is D2. So from this diagram, clearly you can see D2 is greater than D1. Yes or no? This D2, this diameter is greater than D1. Then I can say from here, A2 is greater than A1. Area of this part will be more than area of this part, because area is pi by 4 D square. Okay. If A2 is greater than A1, what is the relationship between area and pressure? It is inversely proportional. If area is more, pressure should be less. So then from here I can write P2 is less than P1, because at point 2 area is more. So here pressure will be less. Okay, as compared to this thing. So pressure will gradually decrease from this point to this point, because here the pressure will be exceedingly high. Okay, so that's why here that pressure is called dynamic pressure. Dynamic pressure, and it is difficult to store dynamic pressure. Okay, dynamic pressure means the pressure of the air will be very high, as well as the velocity of the air is also very high. So it will be difficult to store these kinds of pressurized air. Okay, because for that, in whatever the container you will store this air, the container thickness should be more. Okay, the container material should be strong enough to store dynamic pressurized air. So which will be costlier. So that's why what we are doing, slightly we are increasing the area. So there what will happen? We can convert this dynamic pressurized air into static pressurized air. Okay, because if you increase the area in this diffuser, this pressure will gradually decrease. If the pressure will decrease, the dynamic pressure will convert it to static pressure. Static pressure means the velocity of this pressurized air will be very less. Okay, so if we can convert this dynamic pressurized air into static pressurized air, then easily in any container, okay, made up of cast iron or steel material, we can easily store the static pressurized air. Okay, so that's why we are providing this diffuser. Why? To convert the dynamic pressurized air into static pressurized air, or in simple word, to decrease the pressure of the air, we are providing this diffuser. Here in the inlet of this diffuser, the pressure will be somewhat around 2500 kilopascal. Okay, and by varying this diameter of this diffuser, we can bring down this pressure to 1000 kilopascal. Okay, so depending upon your requirement, we have to change this diameter. Suppose your requirement is only 500 kilopascal, means a drastic change is required, so we have to increase the diameter. Suppose your requirement is 1500 kilopascal. Okay, then we have to decrease this diameter. So like that, by varying the diffuser diameter, we can vary the pressure and we can get the desired pressure. Okay, so that's why there will be a varying cross-sectional area in the diffuser, and this is the relationship between area and pressure inside the diffuser. Roll number 313, Sudhir. Are you clear or anything else you have? Right. Now working principle is also there. Okay, so that is enough for today. We will not study anything else. This working principle and that one small derivation is there. All these things tomorrow we will do. So that's all about for today. So enough we have done. I will put all these things in the group. Once go through it. Tomorrow we will start the working principle of centrifugal compression. If anybody is having any doubt regarding this compressor part, you can ask now. If anyone is having any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, we will close the class. Doubt is not there, I hope. So we will stop here today. Once again, we will start from tomorrow onwards. So I'll put these notes in the group. Once go through it. Okay. Have a nice day. Stay safe.